Marry me. 6 months. No love, just a contract. The words land before she can even process the sound of the door closing behind him. Lena does not move. She signed a marriage contract to save her bakery, but he was hiding a shocking truth. Her hands are still in the dough, fingers dusted in flour, the scent of butter and sugar warm in the air. For a second, the world feels split in two. This small bakery she knows, and the man standing in it, who clearly does not belong. "Wait," she breathes. "What did you just say?" He does not smile. He does not repeat himself. Instead, he walks forward, measured, controlled, and places a slim leather folder on the glass counter, right between a tray of croissants and a half-written price card. Rain taps softly against the windows behind him. The neon open sign flickers once. "You are 3 months behind on rent," he says, calm, precise. "And in less than 2 days, your landlord will shut this place down." Lena's chest tightens. "How do you know that?" His gaze lifts to hers, steady, unshaken. "Because I approved the decision." A pause. Not loud, not dramatic, but heavy enough to change everything. She straightens slowly, wiping her hands on her apron, trying to ground herself in something real. "Who are you?" He slides the folder closer to her. "Ethan Cole." The name means nothing, but something in the way he says it, quiet, certain, makes her uneasy. He continues, almost like he is discussing numbers instead of a life. "I can clear your debt, cover your lease, keep this bakery open." Her heartbeat stumbles. "And in return," she asks. He meets her eyes. "You become my wife, on paper, for 6 months." Silence settles between them. Not empty, but full of everything she is trying not to think about. This is ridiculous. It has to be. But her eyes drift, against her will, to the walls around her. The hand-painted menu her mother made years ago. The worn wooden table by the window where regulars used to sit every morning. The chair that has been empty for weeks. This place is not just failing. It is disappearing. "You do not even know me," she says quietly. "I know enough," Ethan replies. He nods slightly toward the kitchen. "You open at 5 in the morning. You close after 7 at night. You have not taken a day off in over a year." Her breath catches. "You turned down 3 buyout offers." That hits harder. "How do you know about that?" A brief pause. Then, "Because I am involved in the companies making those offers." There it is. Not the full truth, but enough to shift the ground under her feet. Lena looks down at the folder. Slowly. She opens it. Clean pages. Sharp lines. No emotion. Clause 1. This marriage is strictly contractual. No emotional involvement. Clause 2. Both parties will appear publicly as a married couple for designated events. Clause 3. Neither party will interfere with the other's professional decisions. Her eyes move faster now. Clause 4. She stops. If any condition is violated, control of the lease may be transferred. Her head snaps up. "What does that mean?" "It means," Ethan says evenly, "this arrangement requires trust." Trust. The word feels wrong in his mouth. Cold. Calculated. "And what about you?" she presses. "What are you not telling me?" For the first time, something shifts. Just slightly. A flicker in his expression. Gone before she can name it. "You are not really in a position to negotiate here," he says. Not cruel, not loud, just true. And that is what makes it hurt. The rain outside grows heavier now, streaking down the glass like blurred lines she cannot quite see through. Lena closes the folder slowly. Her thoughts are loud, tangled, pulling in every direction at once. What kind of man offers marriage like a business deal? What kind of man already knows she cannot afford to refuse? And more dangerously, why does a part of her feel like this is not just about the bakery? If you were standing where she stands, watching everything you love slip through your hands, would you sign that contract? Or would you walk away and lose it all? Tell me in the comments, would you say yes? Lena didn't jump into his arms. She didn't even answer him right away. Lena does not answer him, not yet. She just stares at the pen resting on top of the contract, as if it weighs more than the entire bakery behind her. The pen does not move. Lena keeps staring at it, as if waiting for it to decide for her. Seconds pass. Ethan does not rush her. He just stands there, watching, like a man who has already calculated the outcome. That unsettles her more than anything. "You said 6 months," she finally says, her voice quieter now. "Why?" It is the first real question she has asked him. Not about money, not about the bakery, about him. Ethan exhales slowly, as if he expected it. "I have a situation that requires stability," he says, publicly. That is not an answer. It is the only one I am offering right now. There it is again, control, carefully measured, never raised, never emotional. Lena studies him, the way he stands, the way he speaks, the way nothing about him feels accidental. This is not a man improvising. This is a man executing a plan.
"And you think I fit into that plan?" she asks. "I think you are real," he says. The answer catches her off guard. "Real? You are not trained. You are not polished. You are not trying to impress anyone." He continues. "That is exactly what I need." For a moment, she does not know how to respond to that. It is not a compliment. But it is not an insult either. It is something else. Something that feels dangerously close to being seen. Lena looks back down at the contract. Her thumb brushes lightly over the edge of the paper. "You said I cannot interfere with your business," she says slowly. "What does that actually mean?" "It means," Ethan replies, "you do not ask questions about decisions that do not concern you." "And my bakery does not concern me?" A pause. A small one. But she notices. "If it is part of the agreement, it will be protected," he says. "If." That word lingers. "What happens after 6 months?" she asks. "We go our separate ways." Just like that. Clean, simple, final. Like none of this ever happened. Lena lets out a quiet breath. She can already feel it, the shape of this decision closing in around her. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just inevitable. "I need to think," she says. Ethan nods once. "Of course." He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a card, and places it next to the contract. "My direct number," he says. "Call me when you are ready." Ready. The word almost makes her laugh. He turns, walking toward the door without another word. And just like that, the space changes again. The bakery feels smaller, quieter, colder. The door closes behind him with a soft click. And for the first time since he walked in, Lena is alone. Or at least, she should be. But his presence lingers. In the contract. In the silence. In the impossible choice sitting right in front of her. She looks down at the paper again. Clause after clause. Rules. Boundaries. Control. And somewhere between the lines, a risk she cannot fully see yet. Outside, the rain slows to a drizzle. Time moves. Whether she is ready or not. That night, Lena does not go home. She stays. The lights in the bakery remain on long after closing. Flour dust settles across the counter as she moves through her routine on autopilot. Mix, knead, bake. The same motions she has repeated for years. Only tonight, they feel different. Heavier. Every movement tied to one question she cannot escape. What am I really agreeing to? At 2 in the morning, She pulls a tray of bread from the oven. The heat hits her face, grounding her for a moment. This place. It has always been her answer. Her safe place. Her last piece of something that once felt whole. And now, it is the very thing forcing her into a decision she never imagined. She sets the tray down and leans against the counter, closing her eyes. You could walk away. The thought comes quietly. Let it go. Start over. Find something smaller, something safer. No contracts, no strangers, no risks. But then another thought follows. And it is louder. You already tried that. And it did not work. Her eyes open slowly. She looks around the bakery again. Really looks. At the cracks in the wall. The empty chairs. The fading paint. This is not just a dream anymore. It is a countdown. If she does nothing, she loses everything anyway. So what is she really afraid of? The contract? Or the man behind it? If you were in her place, would you trust a stranger with your future? Just to save your past? The long night finally broke, and morning came faster than she expected. Morning comes faster than she expects. The sky is pale, the streets are quiet. Lena stands behind the counter again. The contract still exactly where she left it. The pen still resting on top. Waiting. Just like him. This time, she does not hesitate as long. Her hand moves. Slowly. Steadily. Until her fingers close around the pen. And for the first time, she does not pull away. The pen touches the paper. For a second, nothing happens. Lena just holds it there, the tip resting against the line where her name is supposed to go. Her heartbeat is louder now, steady but heavy, like it knows something she does not. This is it. No more thinking. No more waiting. Just a choice. She exhales and signs. The ink dries almost instantly. And just like that, everything changes. The phone rings before she even has time to second-guess herself. Lena stares at it, surprised, then slowly picks it up. Hello? I will be there in 20 minutes. Ethan. No greeting, no hesitation. As if he already knew. Her grip tightens slightly. You were waiting for me to call? I was waiting for you to decide, he replies. The line goes quiet for a brief second. Then. You made the right one. The call ends. Lena lowers the phone slowly, her mind still catching up. Did I? Exactly 20 minutes later, a black car pulls up outside the bakery. Not flashy, but unmistakably expensive. Ethan steps out, the same calm presence, the same controlled energy, as if nothing about last night was unusual. But everything feels different now. Because this time, she chose it. He walks inside without knocking. His eyes go straight to the contract. Already signed. For a brief moment, something shifts in his expression. Not surprise. Not satisfaction. Something quieter. Almost relief. He picks up the document, scanning it quickly, then closes the folder. It is done, he says. That is it. No congratulations. No reassurance. Just confirmation. Lena crosses her arms slightly, grounding herself. So what happens now? Ethan looks at her. And for the first time, there is no pause in his answer. Now we make it real. The next 48 hours move faster than anything Lena has ever experienced. Papers. Meetings. Legal confirmations. Everything handled with precision she cannot keep up with. By the end of the second day, she is no longer just Lena, the bakery owner struggling to survive. She is Mrs. Ethan Cole. The courthouse is small, quiet, almost empty. No music. No guests. No emotion. Just signatures. A witness. And a single, simple sentence spoken by an official who does not know either of them. Do you agree to enter this marriage under the terms provided? Lena glances at Ethan. He does not look at her. Yes, he says. Calm, certain. Like everything else he does. She swallows. Yes. The word feels different coming from her. Not cold. Not calculated. But not entirely certain either. Something in between. Something she does not have a name for yet. The papers are signed. The rings are exchanged. Simple bands. Clean. Unremarkable. And just like that, it is official. No kiss. No celebration. Just silence. Outside, the air feels colder. Sharper. Lena steps out of the courthouse, her hand instinctively brushing against the ring on her finger. It feels heavier than it looks. Ethan joins her a second later. Your things will be moved this afternoon, he says. She blinks. My things? You will not be staying above the bakery anymore. That hits. Wait, what? He meets her eyes. You are my wife now. There are expectations. There it is again. Not a suggestion. A rule. My bakery is here, she says. My life is here. And it will remain operational. He replies. That was part of the agreement. Operational. Not safe. Not hers. Just operational. The difference lands hard. A black car pulls up again behind them. Ethan opens the door, gesturing for her to get in. Lena hesitates. Just for a second. Looking back at the street. At the life she knows. The small, imperfect world she built with her own hands. And then, she steps inside. The city shifts as they drive. Familiar streets fade into wider roads, taller buildings, quieter neighborhoods. Until finally, they stop. The gates alone are taller than her entire bakery. The house behind them does not look like a home. It looks like something designed to be untouchable. Ethan steps out first. Lena follows more slowly, her eyes taking in everything at once. This is not just a different world. This is a different reality. He turns to her. Welcome home. The words should feel warm. They do not. Because deep down, she knows this is not home. It is a contract. A role. A life she just signed into. Without knowing what it will cost her. If you were her, standing in front of a life that looks perfect on the outside, but feels completely unknown on the inside, would you walk forward? Or would you turn back while you still can? There was no turning back now. Taking a deep breath, Lena stepped inside. Lena steps inside anyway. Because turning back is no longer an option. The doors close behind Lena with a soft, almost silent click. And just like that, the world she knew is gone. The air inside the house feels different. Too still. Too perfect. Marble floors stretch beneath her feet, reflecting soft light from above. Everything is polished. Everything is placed exactly where it should be. There is no clutter, no warmth, no trace of a life lived. It feels more like a showroom than a home. Lena does not move right away. Her hand tightens slightly around the strap of her bag. The only thing she brought with her. Is something wrong? Ethan's voice comes from behind her. She exhales quietly. No, it is just. She stops. How do you explain that a place this beautiful feels completely empty? Different, she finishes. Ethan studies her for a brief second, then nods. You will get used to it. The words are simple, but something about them feels final. Not comforting. Just inevitable. A woman approaches from the hallway. Mid-40s, professional, calm. Mrs. Cole, she says with a polite smile. Welcome. I am Claire. I manage the house. Mrs. Cole. The title lands heavier than the ring. Lena forces a small nod. Hi. Claire gestures toward the staircase. Your room has been prepared. Your room. Not your home. Not your space. Just a room. Lena follows her upstairs, each step echoing softly in the quiet. The bedroom is large, immaculate, perfectly arranged. A bed she has never slept in. Closet doors already filled. Her clothes, moved without her. Folded, organized, controlled. She walks slowly to the center of the room. This is where she lives now. Not above the bakery. Not surrounded by the smell of bread and sugar. But here. in a place that feels like it belongs to someone else. Dinner is at 7, Claire says gently before leaving. Mr. Cole prefers punctuality. Of course he does. The door closes behind her. And for the first time since signing the contract, Lena is completely alone. She sits on the edge of the bed, staring at her hands. The ring catches the light. Simple, elegant, and binding. This is real. Not a deal on paper. Not a conversation in a bakery. A life. One she stepped into willingly. But still does not fully understand. Dinner is quiet. Too quiet. A long table, too large for 2 people. Ethan sits at the far end, reviewing something on his tablet as if this is just another routine evening. Lena sits across from him, unsure where to place her hands, her voice, her thoughts. A plate is set in front of her. Perfectly arranged. Perfectly untouched. "You should eat," he says without looking up. She almost laughs. The absurdity of it all pressing in at once. "You always this formal?" she asks. Now he looks at her. "Is that a problem?" "No," she says quickly. "It is just different from what I am used to." "And what are you used to?" She hesitates. Then, people actually talking to each other. A pause. Not long, but noticeable. Ethan sets his tablet down. Slowly. Deliberately. "I am talking to you now," he says. Technically, he is. But that is not what she means. And somehow, he knows it. The silence stretches again. This time, heavier. "Tomorrow," he says, shifting the conversation, "you will meet my team." Her brows knit slightly. "Your team?" "Our public relations advisors, stylists, media coordinators." The words come too quickly. Too easily. Like this has all been planned. "It is necessary," he continues, "if this marriage is going to be seen as real." There it is. The reminder. This is not about them. It is about perception. Image. Control. "And what exactly am I supposed to be?" Lena asks quietly. Ethan meets her eyes again. A believable wife. The answer is honest. But it does not make it easier. Later that night, Lena stands alone by the window in her room. The city lights stretch endlessly below. Beautiful. Distant. Untouchable. She presses her palm lightly against the glass. This life. It looks perfect from the outside. But inside, it feels like something she is still trying to breathe in. Still trying to survive. She glances down at the ring again. And for the first time, a thought slips in. Not loud. Not clear. But there. What if this is not just a contract? What if this is something she cannot walk away from, even after 6 months? If you were living a life that looks flawless to everyone else, but feels completely unfamiliar to you, would you change yourself to fit it? Or would you risk losing everything, just to stay who you are? The real test wasn't the empty house, though. It arrived with the sunrise. Morning is coming. And with it, her first test in a world that does not forgive mistakes. Morning arrives quietly. But nothing about it feels calm. Lena stands in front of the mirror, barely recognizing the woman staring back at her. Her hair has been styled. Her makeup is subtle, precise. The dress she is wearing fits perfectly, too perfectly, like it was chosen for someone else and simply placed on her. She lifts her hand slightly, adjusting the fabric near her waist. It is beautiful. But it does not feel like hers. A soft knock comes at the door. "Mrs. Cole," Claire's voice follows. "They're waiting for you downstairs." They. Not him. Them. Lena exhales slowly. This is the part she cannot avoid. The room downstairs is already full when she enters. 3 people sit around the table, each one turning toward her the moment she steps in. Assessing. Measuring. Judging. Ethan stands near the window, speaking quietly on the phone. He does not look at her right away. Of course he does not. Mrs. Cole, a woman with sharp features and a tablet in her hands, steps forward. "I am Vanessa," Public relations. Her smile is polite. But her eyes are not. We have a lot to go over. Lena nods slightly, unsure whether to speak or just listen. Vanessa gestures to the chair. Please, sit. The moment Lena does, the room shifts into motion. Schedules are placed in front of her. Photos. Articles. Social media drafts. Headlines already written. Ethan Cole marries local bakery owner. A love story no one expected. A grounded woman changes a billionaire's life. Lena blinks. This is not a marriage. This is a narrative. This will be your public image. Vanessa continues. Authentic, relatable, warm. Warm. The word almost feels ironic in a room this controlled. You will attend 5 major events over the next 2 months. Another man adds, flipping through a calendar. Charity gala, investor dinner, media interview, foundation launch, and a private family gathering. Family. That one lands differently. Lena glances toward Ethan. He is no longer on the phone. Now he is watching her. Not closely. But enough. Enough to know she is paying attention. Enough to know she is not backing out. And what exactly do you expect me to do at these events? She asks. Vanessa smiles again. Be yourself. The answer is immediate. Too immediate. But refined, she adds quickly. Guided, polished. There it is. The adjustment. The version of her they want. Lena leans back slightly. So not really myself. A brief silence. Vanessa does not deny it. We are simply helping you present the best version of yourself. Best. According to who? Lena's fingers rest lightly on the table. But inside, something tightens. This is not just about pretending to be married. This is about becoming someone else. The first test comes sooner than she expects. That evening. A small, private dinner. Not public. But important. Key investors, Ethan says as they prepare to leave. People whose opinions matter. Lena stands by the door, adjusting the sleeve of her dress. Do not worry, he adds, just follow my lead. She looks at him. For how long? She asks. His expression does not change. For as long as necessary. The answer settles between them. Heavy. Unfinished. The restaurant is quiet, exclusive. The kind of place where every movement is noticed. Every word carries weight. As they walk in, conversations soften. Eyes turn. And just like that, the story begins. Ethan's hand rests lightly against Lena's back. Not intimate. Not distant. Just calculated. Relax, he murmurs under his breath. They are watching. She already knows. They reach the table. 3 men, 1 woman. All older. All powerful. All already forming opinions. This is my wife, Lena, Ethan says. The word lands differently this time. Wife. Not contract. Not agreement. Wife. Charming, one of the men says. His tone neutral. A bakery owner, right? Lena nods. Yes. Small business, he continues, almost casually. That must be challenging. There it is. The test. Not obvious. But deliberate. Lena feels it immediately. The slight condescension. The assumption. She could smile. Stay quiet. Play the role they expect. But something in her resists. Yes, she says calmly, it is challenging. A pause. Then she continues. But it also teaches you things most people in large corporations forget. The table goes still. Ethan's gaze shifts slightly. Watching. Interested. Like what? The woman across from her asks. Lena meets her eyes. How to survive without safety nets. She says. How to adapt when things change overnight. And how to build something people actually care about, not just something that looks good on paper. Silence. Not awkward. But sharp. Real. And for the first time that night, the way they look at her changes. Just slightly. Just enough. Ethan does not interrupt. He does not step in. He lets her speak. And that says more than anything else. Later, as they leave the restaurant, the air feels different. Lighter. But not simple. You handled that well, Ethan says as they walk toward the car. She glances at him. I was just being myself. He studies her for a moment. Then. Good. Just one word. But this time. It does not feel like control. It feels like acknowledgement. Back in the car, Lena leans her head lightly against the window, watching the city pass by. Tonight, she did not break. She did not pretend. She did not disappear. And somehow, that matters. More than she expected. If you were placed in a world that tries to reshape you, would you adapt to survive? Or would you hold on to who you are, no matter the cost? The ride back to the house was dead silent, but the air felt entirely different. Because this was only the first test. And in Ethan's world, the real ones are just beginning. The house is quiet when they return. Too quiet. The kind of silence that does not comfort, but listens. Lena steps inside first, slipping off her heels near the door. Her feet ache, but she barely notices. Her mind is still back at the table, replaying every word. Every look, every pause. She did not fail. But she is not sure what she just passed. Behind her, Ethan closes the door. You surprised them, he says. His voice is calm, but there is something else beneath it now. Not control. Not distance. Something closer to curiosity. Lena turns slightly. Was I not supposed to? That depends, he replies. Do you want them to underestimate you, or remember you? She considers that. I think they already made up their minds before I even sat down. She says. Ethan watches her for a moment. Then tonight may have been the first time they questioned it. That lands differently. Not praise. But recognition. And somehow, that feels more real. Later that night, Lena cannot sleep. The room is too large. The bed too untouched. Everything feels borrowed. Temporary. She turns onto her side, staring at the faint light slipping through the curtains. Her thoughts drift back, not to the dinner, but to him. The way he let her speak. The way he did not interrupt. The way he watched. Not like a man managing a situation, but like someone trying to understand it. Or her. That thought unsettles her more than anything else. Because this is not supposed to be real. None of it is. So why does it feel like something is shifting? The next morning begins earlier than she expects. A knock at the door. Mrs. Cole. Claire's voice again. Mr. Cole is waiting for you. Waiting. That is new. Lena glances at the clock. 6:30. Too early for anything social. She pulls on a light jacket and heads downstairs. Ethan is in the kitchen. Not the formal dining room. Not the office. The kitchen. He stands near the counter, sleeves rolled slightly, a cup of coffee in his hand. For a second, Lena just watches. This version of him does not match the one she has seen so far. You are up early, she says. He looks at her, almost as if he expected her to be there. I could say the same. I am used to it, she replies. Bakery hours. A small pause. Then. I thought you might want to see something. That catches her attention. What kind of something? Instead of answering, he sets his cup down and gestures toward the door. Come with me. They drive in silence. Not uncomfortable. But not easy either. The city slowly wakes around them, streets filling. Lights shifting. Life returning. But Lena's focus stays on him. On the fact that he did not explain where they're going. On the fact that she followed anyway. The car stops. Not at the house. Not at an office. At her bakery. Lena blinks. What are we doing here? Ethan steps out first. She follows, confusion building with each step. The door is unlocked. Inside, the lights are on. Everything is exactly where she left it. But something feels different. More alive. More intentional. Ethan walks to the center of the room. I told you it would remain operational, he says. She crosses her arms slightly. You also said I should not interfere with your business. This is not interference. Then what is it? He turns to her. For now, it is an exception. That word again. Temporary. Controlled. Lena walks past him, running her fingers lightly along the counter. This place. It still feels like hers. But not entirely. Not anymore. You can come here in the mornings. Ethan continues. Before your scheduled appearances. She looks back at him. Scheduled appearances. She repeats. Yes. Not optional. Never optional. And after that? She asks. After that, you return to your responsibilities. Responsibilities. The word feels heavier than it should. What if I do not want to leave? She asks quietly. A pause. Longer this time. Ethan's jaw tightens just slightly. Then you should not have signed the contract. The truth. Clear. Unavoidable. But something in his tone is different. Not harsh. Not cold. Just conflicted. Lena turns away, focusing on the familiar space around her. This is where she understands things. Where she feels in control. Not in his world. Not in his rules. Here. She reaches for a mixing bowl, almost instinctively. The motion grounding her. You really think this can work? She asks without looking at him. This already is working, he replies. She stops. Slowly turns back. For who? The question hangs in the air. Unanswered. Ethan does not respond immediately. And that is the first time she has seen him hesitate. Not because he does not know what to say, but because the answer is not simple. If you were given a chance to keep what you love, but only under someone else's rules, would it still feel like yours? Or would it slowly become something else? And now, let us go back to our main character. Because Lena is beginning to realize. This contract is not just changing her life. It is changing him too. And neither of them is ready for what that means. The question lingers in the air longer than either of them expects. For who? Lena does not move. Her hands rest lightly on the counter. But her attention is fixed on him now. Waiting. Watching. For the first time since she met him, Ethan does not answer immediately. And that silence. It says more than anything he could. The next few days move fast. Too fast. Schedules fill her mornings. Appearances take her afternoons. Dinners, meetings, rehearsed conversations, they take her evenings. Lena learns quickly. How to stand. How to speak. How to smile at the right moment. How to say just enough, without saying too much. But something else happens too. Something no one planned for. People start listening to her. Not because she is Ethan Cole's wife. But because of what she says. Because it is real. The second public event is larger. A charity gala. Lights, cameras, reporters. Everything louder, everything sharper. Ethan stands beside her at the entrance, his hand resting lightly at her back again. Remember, he says under his breath, stay close. She nods. But inside, she already knows this is different from the dinner. This is not just observation. This is exposure. Flashes go off as soon as they step forward. Ethan, over here. Mrs. Cole, how did you two meet? Is it true you are expanding into local businesses? The questions come fast. Too fast. Lena feels it, pressure building. Attention narrowing. This is the moment. The one where she either becomes part of the story or disappears into it. She glances at Ethan. He does not speak. He is watching her again. Letting her choose. So she steps forward. Just slightly. Enough to be seen. We met in a place that matters to both of us. She says, her voice steady. Work. The reporters lean in. And what kind of work is that? One asks. Lena smiles softly. The kind that keeps people going when things get difficult. It is not a full answer. But it is enough. Enough to shift the tone. Enough to make them curious. Not suspicious. Ethan notices. Of course he does. Inside, the atmosphere changes. Less chaotic. More controlled. But not less dangerous. A woman approaches them. Elegant, confident. Too confident. Ethan, she says, her voice smooth but sharp underneath. You did not tell me you were bringing her. Lena feels it immediately. Not curiosity. Judgment. Ethan's posture shifts slightly. Victoria, he replies. No warmth. No introduction. Just a name. Victoria's eyes move to Lena. Slowly. Taking her in. You must be the wife, she says. Not a question. Lena holds her gaze. Yes. A pause. Then Victoria smiles. But it does not reach her eyes. How interesting. There it is. The first real challenge. Not subtle. Not hidden. Direct. And what exactly do you bring to all of this? Victoria continues. Besides a charming backstory? The words land clean. Carefully chosen. Designed to cut, without looking like it. Lena feels the room shift slightly. Attention turning. Waiting. Ethan does not step in. Not yet. He is watching again. Letting her decide. And this time, she understands why. Because if she cannot stand here, she cannot stand anywhere in his world. Lena takes a small breath. Grounding herself. I bring something simple, she says. Victoria raises a brow. Oh? Lena meets her eyes fully now. Perspective. The word lands. Soft. But firm. People like to talk about growth. Lena continues. Expansion. Profit. Bigger and better. She gestures lightly around the room. But sometimes, bigger just means further away from what actually matters. Silence. Not loud. But noticeable. And what would that be? Victoria asks. Lena does not hesitate. People. That is it. No speech. No performance. Just truth. For a moment, no one responds. And then, something shifts. Again. Not in everyone. But enough. Enough to matter. Victoria studies her. Longer this time. As if recalculating. As if realizing, this is not going to be as easy as she thought. Interesting, she repeats. But this time, it sounds different. Later, as they step away from the crowd, Ethan speaks. You handled that well. Lena exhales slowly. So you keep saying. He looks at her. This time, more directly. Do you know why? She shakes her head slightly. Because you do not try to fit in, he says. You make them adjust. That lands deeper than she expects. Not just acknowledgement. Understanding. But across the room, Victoria is still watching. And now, she is no longer amused. She is interested. And in this world, that is far more dangerous. If someone started seeing you as a threat, not because you were powerful, but because you were real, would you change? Or would you stand your ground, even knowing what comes next? And now, let us go back to our main character. Because Lena just passed another test. But this time, she did not just survive it. She changed the rules. And not everyone is going to like that. Victoria does not approach Lena again that night. She does not need to. Because from that moment on, everything changes. The next morning, Lena notices it immediately. The tone. The energy. The way people speak to her and around her. Not dismissive anymore. Not curious. Careful. And in Ethan's world, that means something. But the shift does not come without consequence. It starts small. A delayed meeting. A cancelled appearance. A subtle change in schedule that no one explains. At first, Lena thinks it is just coincidence. Until it is not. You were supposed to be at the foundation briefing this morning. Lena stands in the living room, her phone still in her hand. I was told it was moved, she says. Ethan looks at her. It was not. A pause. Not long. But enough. Then someone changed it, she replies. Now his expression sharpens slightly. Who told you? Vanessa's assistant. That is all it takes. Something clicks. Something behind his calm shifts. By the afternoon, the pattern becomes clear. Emails she never receives. Meetings she is suddenly not required to attend. Opportunities quietly removed. Not aggressively. Not openly. But precisely. Someone is narrowing her space. Limiting her presence. Trying to reduce her without making it obvious. That evening, Lena stands in the kitchen again. Not the formal dining room. Not the curated world. Her world. She moves through the motions, mixing, measuring, baking. But her thoughts are elsewhere. Focused. Sharp. This is not random. This is strategy. And she already knows who is behind it. Ethan enters quietly. He watches her for a moment before speaking. You were right. Lena does not turn. About what? Someone is interfering. She lets out a small breath. I figured. A pause. Then she adds. Let me guess, Victoria? Ethan does not answer immediately. Which is answer enough. Lena finally turns to face him. So what now? His jaw tightens slightly. I will handle it. There it is. Control. Solution. Final. But this time, she does not accept it. No. The word comes out calm. But firm. Ethan looks at her. What do you mean, no? I mean this is not just your problem. Lena says, she is not trying to undermine you. A beat. She is trying to erase me. That lands. Because it is true. And they both know it. Ethan studies her now. More carefully. More seriously. And what exactly do you plan to do about it? He asks. Lena steps closer. Not aggressive. Not emotional. Just certain. I am going to show up. He does not react. So she continues. To everything she tries to block me from. Lena says, every meeting, every event, every room she thinks I do not belong in. Her voice stays steady. But this time, I am not just going to stand there. A pause. Longer now. I am going to speak. For the first time, Ethan does not interrupt. Does not correct. Does not control. He just watches her. And something changes. Again. Not in the situation. But in how he sees her. You understand what that means. He says finally. Yes. It will create conflict. I know. It will not be easy. Lena holds his gaze. It was never easy. Silence. But not empty. Not distant. This time, it feels aligned. Ethan nods once. Slowly. Then we do it your way. And just like that, the rules shift. Not because the contract changed. But because she did. Across the city, in a quiet office high above everything else, Victoria stands by the window, her phone in her hand. She listens. She smiles. Slow. Calculated. So she wants to play? She says softly. A pause. Then. Good. If someone tried to push you out of a world you never asked to be part of, would you step back? Or would you step forward and claim your place anyway? She didn't wait for permission. The next morning, Lena drove straight into the storm. Because Lena just made a choice. Not to survive this contract. But to fight for it. And in a world like this, that changes everything. The next event is not announced publicly. No press. No cameras. Just a closed-door board meeting, where decisions are made quietly, and lives are changed without headlines. And this time, Lena is not supposed to be there. The room falls silent the moment she walks in. Conversations stop. Eyes turn. Some surprised. Some annoyed. And one, already expecting her. Victoria. She stands near the head of the table, arms crossed. a faint smile playing on her lips. I was under the impression this meeting was restricted, she says calmly. Lena does not stop walking. I was under the impression I am Ethan Cole's wife, she replies. The words land clean. Sharp. Undeniable. A few heads shift. The balance moves. Ethan enters just behind her. Not rushing. Not correcting. Standing beside her. Not in front. Not above. Beside. That alone says everything. Let her stay, he says. And just like that, the room accepts it. Not willingly, but completely. The meeting begins. Numbers, plans, expansion. And then, the real topic surfaces. Aurora Bakery Group. The project. The one Lena never fully understood. Until now. We are moving forward with Phase 2, Victoria says, her voice smooth. Full acquisition of the remaining properties in the district. Lena's breath stills. Remaining properties. That includes her bakery. She turns to Ethan. This time, she does not hide it. Is this what you meant by business decisions that do not concern me? The room shifts. Tension rises. Ethan does not answer right away. And that silence confirms everything. Victoria steps in smoothly. This is not personal, she says. It is growth. Lena looks at her. No, she says quietly. It is removal. A pause. Then she steps forward. Not emotional. Not loud. But grounded in something stronger than either. You call it expansion. Lena continues. But what you are really doing is erasing everything that does not fit your model. The room is still. Listening. Even those who did not expect to. These businesses are not numbers, she says. They are people, families, stories. She glances at Ethan. Then back at the room. And if you remove all of that, what exactly are you building? Silence. Real silence. The kind that forces people to think, whether they want to or not. Victoria's expression tightens. Emotion does not drive strategy, she says. No, Lena replies, but it defines impact. That lands. Because it is true. And because no one else said it. Ethan finally speaks. Pause the project. The room reacts instantly. Confusion. Resistance. Victoria turns sharply. That is not part of the plan. Ethan does not look at her. I know. His voice is calm. But final. We reassess. Ethan turned his gaze to the rest of the board members. His voice was cold, calculative, but unyielding. Lena is right, Ethan continued. Erasing the local culture destroys the organic value of the district. We aren't building a ghost town of concrete. We are investing in a community. Phase 2 is officially on hold until we can integrate the local businesses into the new model. And just like that, everything changes. Not because Lena forced it, but because he chose it. Later that night, the house feels different. Not colder. Not distant. Just quieter in a new way. Lena stands by the window again. But this time, she is not looking out. She is thinking. Ethan steps beside her. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Then, the contract ends in 2 months, he says. She nods. I know. A pause. Longer this time. But not uncomfortable. Do you still want it to end? He asks. That is the question. The real one. Not about the deal. Not about the bakery. About them. Lena looks at him. Really looks. Not the man who walked into her bakery. Not the man who controlled everything. But the man who changed a decision, because of her. Because of what she believed. And for the first time. Her answer is not about survival. It depends, she says softly. On what? She holds his gaze. On whether this is still a contract, or something else. He does not respond right away. But this time, his silence feels different. Not distant. Not controlled. But honest. Weeks later, the announcement is made. The district will not be destroyed. It will be rebuilt. Together. Small businesses included. Not removed. Not replaced. But supported. The bakery stays. Not just open. But alive again. And this time, stronger. One evening, after closing, Lena locks the door and turns. To find Ethan standing there. No suit. No pressure. Just him. You never signed a new contract, he says. She smiles slightly. I did not need to. A small pause. Then he reaches into his pocket and places the old contract on the counter. The one she signed. The one that started everything. He slides it toward her. You can end it, he says. No conditions. No control. No leverage. Just a choice. Lena looks at the paper. Then at him. And slowly. She pushes it back. I already did, she says. Not with ink. Not with signatures. But with everything that came after. Because sometimes, the most powerful relationships do not start with love. They start with necessity. With survival. With imperfect choices. But what matters is not how they begin. It is what they become. So let me ask you something. If you were given a relationship that started as a transaction, would you walk away the moment it became real? Or would you stay and see what it could grow into? Stories like this remind us of something simple. Love is not about perfect beginnings. It is about honest change. About choosing someone, even after the truth is revealed. About building something real, in a world full of conditions. If this story made you think, even for a moment, take a second to like and share. Because someone out there might need to hear this today. And maybe, just maybe, they are standing at their own version of that contract right now.